Have you all already begun to notice that with some of the features you all empower with this software, people changing their approach to how they design their collection? And I'll give you a specific example. When you mentioned being able to cut up the utility, I thought about VFriends, for instance, and how when they first came out, no one really understood, okay, similar to Bored Apes, you don't really know what's coming next, but then you find out, oh, if I have this sort of character, I get this particular utility. But I don't get the utility that comes with that character, or trait rather. And now if there's a world where somebody on an individual level can go in, and I imagine maybe on the back end as the creator, you can decide like, let them split their utility up, don't let them. But have you all, just on the conversation, the clients you're already working with, noticing that once people see what can be done with this, they're kind of like, let me.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. First of all, the answer is, yes, it's a resounding yes. But what we've also started to notice is that even with lawyers, they're starting to change the way that these contracts should be drafted, because a traditional NFT license has to bake in all of the functionality from day one. These are the commercial rights, X, Y, and Z. If you do this, these are the rights. Yes, some of them are being changed, but effectively you have to determine on day one how you want people interacting with your asset, versus the modularity approach of what we're doing and the composability of these contracts mean you can have a base mother contract, if you will, that determines certain permissions around interacting and transacting the actual token, the asset. And then you can toggle on or off permissions, as you said. And what is a license theoretically? It's really a permission to do something with the asset. So if you can toggle on a permission to, let's say, Kanye West, it's like, hey, it's Kanye West. We want him to be able to utilize this NFT in a new way. We can elevate his permission status, allow him to add these licensing contracts to these base layers with unique royalties, unique revenue splits, unique equity splits of that license. So now he has the permission to license the image for, an apparel line. Then you could add another subcontract, which actually turns that apparel, like if, let's say you wanted to do, shoes with the actual Bored Ape and list those shoes on the blockchain, you can now trace back all of the permissions from these derivative assets all the way to the central source of this mother contract, all through this permissions infrastructure.
And just to add to that, like in the VFriends example, right? Imagine you're in the bowling VFriend where you get the opportunity twice or once for the first 2 years per year to participate in a 10-person bowling event with Gary, where it's like, the workout, I think it's a gorilla or a monkey, to work out with Gary one-on-one. But let's say you live in Singapore or somewhere else. Your only option right now is to just sell the entire NFT, and hopefully the other person is able to redeem it for that utility or just keep it for the digital collectible status. Imagine if you were able to permission out, right? Like you're able to redeem this, but you have to be either a US citizen or you have to be not a sanctioned person or not a criminal record or something that maybe endanger Gary's
the rest of the
safety.
bowling crew.
And then actually sell that to someone else who also meets the same restrictions, right? And so what VFriends did, right, with the VCon is that they dropped the 3-year VCon tickets as separate NFTs and sold those off so that the person didn't have to sell the entirety of the VFriend to be able to access that utility. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle some of the other utility features as well.